Hi. It's Will. Welcome to Will Radio Part 20, Why I Don't Sleep. That title is in response to a book that I'm not a fan of. If you know the book, you know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, I'm not even going to mention its name. I don't take much stock in that book, by the way. Anyway, thought I'd do a little update. The streak continues. I've been writing and making videos and firing up Logic Pro, making horrible sounds, all those sorts of things. So the streak's been going on a little bit. I mean, it started well before the new year. So I think that's a good sign. Now, the holidays really aren't over quite yet. I think we'll see next week, starting tomorrow, when sort of work is back to normal, how it goes. But I'm optimistic. I think I'll be able to keep it going. So we'll see what happens. And I've been thinking, so what's different about this year versus last year around this time? So last year, actually before New Year's, I decided I wanted to start making videos and get used to making videos, just sort of power through, make lots and lots of videos so I get used to it, because I was very self-conscious, and, I would do 70 takes and all that nonsense. So last year, well, I guess a little more than a year ago, before New Year's, I was just ramping up and got the microphone and was trying to figure out the electromagnetic interference from a cheap LED standing light and all that stuff, trying to figure out how to do leveling of volume on YouTube for YouTube videos, that stuff. And then I got into it and I started making videos, and I decided to do this, KiloTube video challenge, which I ended up, declaring bankruptcy for, because I didn't get anywhere close to it, and I knew I wasn't going to, because I stopped making videos at one point in time, mainly because of noise issues. More me making noise than receiving noise. But I still got, I don't know, probably around 128 videos made, so pretty good in some sense, much better than I would have done otherwise probably. So, an order of magnitude less than I had intended, but still a fair amount. And I had hoped to do things like make music and to write a book. In fact, I ended up trying to write 11 books, and, that didn't go very well. And I ended up messing around with keyboards and, track devices, and trying to learn Dvorak and all these things. So now I actually have been making videos every day, and I am writing a book, and I know which book I want to write, and I am working on it every day. Maybe not a tremendous amount every day, sometimes one sentence, but I am doing it every day. And I am learning Japanese kanji every day. I'm studying that every day. So I'm just trying to think what's different, because I feel like I'm on a roll now, but the things I'm doing were things that I wanted to do last year this time, for the most part. It was a little less clear. I didn't know which book I wanted to write exactly, although, I knew the book I'm currently working on was one of those books. And so it feels like a lot of last year for me was sort of a trial run. That was a way for me to try to learn how to do the things that I wanted to do, and also, how to level up some of the skills that I needed, just things like figuring out the microphone and how to upload a YouTube video, that sort of thing. I'm not saying I'm particularly good at any of those things I'm doing right now. However, I'm at the point where I've gotten unstuck enough where I can just do it. Okay, so that feels like a difference, and I feel like I'll be able to keep the streak going with making videos and all that. One reason that I should be able to make, keep making videos is with the music stuff. I don't even need to talk. I can just have my headphones on, and I'm messing around with Logic Pro. I ended up getting a different keyboard that I currently have. I've got a pile of keyboards near me, but it's that SteelSeries 10 keyless keyboard, which in some sense is a downgrade from all the other keyboards I have. I think it's a membrane keyboard. It's got these gaudy LED, RGB LED lights that keep cycling through, which I don't even know how to turn that off. I probably have to install their horrible software, which I'm not interested in doing. So in a lot of ways, it's just not that great. It only has a USB A or B connector or whatever, so I have to use a fancy, $90 dongle from Apple to connect it to my laptop and all that stuff. But it has one great advantage, is that it's very, very quiet. So, I can type on it, and it's not significantly louder than typing on my laptop keyboard. Maybe a little bit louder, but not much. Even, significantly less loud than, say, Cherry Brown switches. So, doesn't have the fancy keycaps, and it's not split, and it's not super ergonomic. But my wrists have been doing okay. I haven't really had a problem. I'm not writing for 5 hours at a time or whatever. That's the other thing. I'm not trying to build up my tolerance and do giant sprints. I'm just like, okay, I'll just work on a little bit each day, and it should be okay. So I haven't really had any wrist problems since then. And then, as far as the book, I know what I want to work on. Work on it a little bit every day. Some days I get a sentence in. It's not even a very good sentence. And, last night I put in a fair amount of work. I don't know if it's good work or not. I'm not going to worry about it. But, I finished a big chunk of a section that had been giving me trouble. So that's fine. So anyway, I feel like the trial run is over, and this year I'm actually just going to do the things that I wanted to do last year. And in terms of the pace of the videos, I don't know how that will work out, but at my current pace, I think I'm making on average probably 2 videos a day. Even if I just made 1 video a day, if I really make a video a day, that will, that's 365. If I make 2 a day, we're 2/3 of the way to the kilotube. So, I don't know. It's at least plausible that I'll either get a kilotube or get pretty close to it this year, at least most of the way there. So, and that's not me trying to do anything fancy. That's the one of the things that's fun for me is, that these videos serve as a nice forcing function, especially for something like Logic Pro. I mean, I've had Logic Pro now for a while, and I started it up a couple times and then quickly got overwhelmed by the complexity of it. And then it's like, I guess I'll watch a video on it or something. But then I found this 11-hour video on how to use Logic Pro. It's like, oh my gosh, or is it 12-hour video? 12-hour video showing you how to use it. I was like, okay. I think I got about 10 minutes into it. It was a good video, but it was like, if I have to go through 12 hours of super dense material before I can do anything, that's probably not going to go anywhere. Whereas instead, now I'm just messing around and I'm actually doing things. I'm actually making horrible sounds, making something starting to approximate music. Um, yeah. And I'm for my Japanese, I'm not just I'm not just memorizing kanji according to the Heisig method. I'm also trying to read some, and I'm not really leaning too hard into reading yet, but I do read some. I do try to read some Japanese, and if nothing else, I can look at some text and try to go through and see which of the kanji I recognize at this point. I don't know the readings for most of the kanji that I've learned how to write. That comes later, but I'm starting to get that level of familiarity. So I'm up to about 300 kanji now. I'm not 100% on those kanji. I'm probably, I think, somewhere between 90 and 95% accuracy. I would like to get much closer to 100. I don't think I have to be 100% accuracy, but 90% is too low, I think. So I'm going through and practicing with some apps. That's one of the things that I ran into before was I started learning new kanji faster than I kind of locked in the old kanji, and then it just kind of fell apart because it's like, okay, well, I claim to have learned 10 kanji today, but I seem to have forgotten 12. So I'm trying to be very careful with that. I think the apps on my iPhone make it a lot easier for me to practice things. I don't have to have giant stacks of 3x5 cards or 4x6 cards because while I'm glad I did those, it is true that at some point it's just 2,200 index cards takes up a lot of room, and you have to carry them around with you, and it just gets to be a bit of a pain, especially since I travel not a huge amount, but enough that it's an issue. So yeah, making music, reading some Japanese. I like that. I'm doing something. And on writing, of course, I'm not reading books on writing. I'm actually writing. Great. And I think, having these daily activities, which I've generally been weak on. I'm not someone who tends to do things every day. Trying to figure out how to do that has been interesting, and at least right now it feels pretty sustainable. With the kanji, if I traveled, if I ended up with a work deadline, or something else was going on, then I just I would drop it. But these days, even with all family stuff and holidays, I've been able to keep it up a little bit, because that's the thing. Like, okay, I could study kanji for 5 minutes. That's fine. I can do it 5 minutes a day. I can do it 10 minutes a day. That's not a problem. I can do that. And, as long as I don't say, oh yeah, I have to do it for 45 minutes a day, something like that. I used to wake up early in the morning and go to a coffee shop, try to be there at 7:30, 7:45, and then do the kanji for a while, make my cards, all this stuff. I spend an awful lot of time making cards. That's another thing I don't have to do with the app. I still make sure I can write it. And probably going through and making all those cards in the beginning was useful to understand the Heisig methodology. But at this point, I understand the methodology, so I don't think I need to make cards anymore. I do need to know how to draw things. I need to come up with stories. That's the important part. So it seems more sustainable with music. I would try to learn guitar or keyboard or something, and then I'd end up traveling. And it's like, okay, well, the keyboard doesn't fit. The guitar doesn't fit in my luggage, or I'm on the road, traveling around. Well, I'm not going to carry a guitar with me and play it in a hotel room. And like, that's not a beginner activity. Like if I'm in a band, sure. If I'm a serious player, sure. But, I don't even carry my fountain pens with me at this point most of the time. It's just too much. My back has complained for years now about carrying all this stuff around. So, I can use a DAW and just play around. I don't even need a mouse or keyboard. I can just use it with my laptop and make horrible noises and, learn how that stuff works. So, So I think, trying to figure all that out. Same with writing. It doesn't have to be a big deal. I don't have to sit down and have everything perfect and whatever. I can, knock out a sentence. And, this working semi in public also works, I think, better for me than either working entirely privately or entirely openly. So when I tried to record every single time I was writing, that became too much. I just basically didn't write. Or if I don't record anything about writing, then, I have less pressure on myself to do it every day or to do it at all. So I like the recording. So I do have pressure on myself to make at least a video a day. And that could be the DAW is the easiest thing because it doesn't require me talking at all. I could do writing without talking. That's kind of boring for me too, but I could do that also. So, those are two types of videos I could do with minimal or no talking. So for that reason alone, I think I can keep the streak going for the videos. And, as I've said before, I make these videos, that sort of video, mostly for myself. I'm just, I'm learning how to do this stuff. Maybe some people find it interesting. I don't know. Maybe some people find it inspiring. Hopefully they'll try some things that maybe they're capable of doing, but haven't done, aren't doing currently. But yeah, so that's working pretty well. So having those daily activities works well. And, anything that can be done on a computer, I could probably do it, is my perspective. A guitar, even though I've made a guitar before, playing a guitar, that's a lot. Or, even though I like pens and paper, carrying around tons of flashcards and notebooks and stuff, that's just a lot to manage. It's like, if I can do it on my phone, if I can do it on my laptop, if I can do it on an iPad, okay. Probably more likely that I can do it every day. So anyway, that's what I've been thinking about that. The other thing that I've been thinking about is, okay, well, there is at least one other difference, when maintaining the streak and all that. I mean, I did have a streak at the beginning of last year. I mean, at this time last year. It's not like I didn't have that, but something that's different, at least feels different to me, is, I really want to do these things every day. Not some days, every day. Modulo family emergency or something like that, or my getting very sick or something like that. I want to do it every day. And actually, I've been sick twice and I made stuff. So already, I wasn't super sick, fortunately, but I was sick enough where I didn't really want to do anything, but I still made sure to do my daily activities. And similarly with sleep, there have been some times where, from work or family things or whatever, I didn't get started until 2 a.m. It was like 2 a.m. was when, if I wanted to do something, I could. And sort of reasonable me would say, well, I'll go to sleep and then, I'll wake up refreshed. Unreasonable me, half of the unreasonable schemers, is like, no, I'm not going to go to sleep. I know I'm tired. I know going to sleep is an option, but I don't want to go to sleep because I haven't done what I wanted to do. I haven't done my daily workout or my daily practice or whatever, my daily activities, my daily doing. So that's the choice I've made so far. There, at least one night I started making videos at 2 and made another video at like 4 a.m. A couple nights ago I was making a video at 4 a.m. and then I think last night I made a video at 2. I don't know, I'm getting the days confused, but there have been multiple times where at 2 a.m. I was making videos or was writing or making DAWs, and like I said in one of the videos, well, I had Logic Pro open, and as I was determined to do 10 minutes of Logic Pro, and I fell asleep twice, so I guess that's fair game. If I fall asleep in the video, and I want 10 minutes, it could be 10 minutes of me snoring. That's still 10 minutes. But anyway, that's something I'm feeling. It's like I just want to do it. It reminds me, I got to a point in grad school, my first year, when I was trying to learn logic programming and all that. I had such a hard time learning logic programming in the beginning. And at some point I just said, I'm so frustrated that I will either figure out this logic programming stuff or I'll drop out of grad school at the end of the first semester. It's going to be one or the other. And at that point, once I made that decision, I just put in a huge amount of effort, and, I figured it out, at least well enough to end up writing the book with Dan and Oleg and all that stuff. But that was like, okay, I'm so frustrated that I would rather, just pour in all this time and energy and drop out of grad school if it doesn't work than be continually frustrated. Okay. So that was kind of the situation there. And so that's kind of how I feel right now, is that, all right, I tried doing these things last year and it was a mixed bag, from my perspective. I mean, certainly I got over the, fear, self-censorship, whatever, of making videos. I can just sit down and make a video now. I don't do multiple takes unless there's like a technical problem. Even if there's a technical problem, I probably just go with it. Like the other day, I recorded Logic Pro and turns out, the DAW stuff came through, but my microphone setup didn't for some reason. And that's fine. All right. I uploaded that video. No problem. So, anyway, that's how I'm feeling, is that I just want to do these things. I want to make music. I want to work on the book. I'm willing to just kind of grind it out. And, it seems to be working. I want to learn how to read Japanese. I want to do all those things, and I'm willing to do them every day. And with the understanding that some days maybe I can only do them 5 minutes each, or 10 minutes for music or something. That's fine. And I want to make at least a video a day. And so if that means that at 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. I haven't made a video and I haven't written on the book, there we go. Time to write a sentence and make a video. And maybe at 4 a.m. it has to be a silent video. It's just me typing. Okay. Well, there it is. So yeah, I'm fine with that, by the way. I much rather do that than, get a good night's sleep and then be miserable in the morning because I didn't actually do the things I wanted to. As one of my friends pointed out, I do seem to be able to function on very little sleep. But it is still annoying in the morning. I don't feel like, if I've had 7 hours of sleep, I feel pretty good. And if I have 3 hours of sleep or 4 hours of sleep, I can do okay. And then hopefully I take a nap at some point. So it's not like I prefer it. I do prefer getting 7 hours of sleep. I'm just, I want to make videos and I want to do all these things, you know. What I haven't been doing, what haven't I been doing? I haven't been learning physics. I have not been making much time for that. And that's something I'd like to get into again. You know, so that's I've been watching StarCraft videos, Artosis Cast videos. I've played 1 or 2 games. I guess maybe 2 nights I played against computer. But I want to start playing on ladder. And so in the beginning, I'll be terrible. Like for StarCraft 2, I lost my first 13 ladder games. I have played StarCraft Brood War ladder. I've won, I think, 2 games. But those are against people who just like left, or they were really, really bad. I mean, I'm bad. I'm bad at StarCraft Brood War. Really bad compared to people who play on ladder. But there are people worse than me even. So, you know. So anyway, that's something that I would like to do, is play ladder games. I don't know if I could play a ladder game every day. I probably could now, because I think those games would be very short. They wouldn't take very long. Those would be shorter than my making horrible sounds in Logic Pro. If I actually get good at StarCraft, then I have to be careful, because Brood War games can take a long time. So that's something I'd like to do. And then, of course, the physics. And learning more about biology, of course. You know, all that. That's a little different, because that sort of gets into my medical research. And then I've been thinking, okay, you know, I'm happy with these daily activities. I'm happy to be writing this book, if slowly. But there's something that I feel is really missing, which is, you know, hacking on miniKanren. And that's in 2 forms. One is just sort of playing around, which I think is super important, especially for a research project. Playing around, like I'm playing around Logic Pro. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just like figuring it out. A lot of times in miniKanren, it's like, oh, this would be a fun idea. I wonder if I could do this. You know, let me play around with that. Or here's a program I know how to write. Can I write it a different way? You know, like just exploring. So that's cool and important, I think. And then there's another type of thing, which is, okay, well, what about improving miniKanren or relational programming? What about identifying and clearly articulating problems, you know, things that we just don't know how to do well, and we might not even know, you know, we might not even have solutions on the horizon of how we might overcome some of these problems. And well, what can we do about it? Okay, what are the real problems with relational programming? Yeah, what do we do about it? In some cases, I've got ideas of things we could do about it, and other people have ideas, and they've shared those ideas, and I want to explore those. So that's also something I want to do. Now, I know there's a finite number of activities I can do every single day, but this is one of them, and I want it to be in the same spirit as writing the book, where I can literally write 1 sentence. Okay, it doesn't take me very long to write a sentence. I can do that. You know, I can do all of the GitHub stuff and write the sentence, you know, in 5 minutes, 7 minutes, you know. So you're talking like that. If I put in 5 or 7 or 10 minutes hacking on miniKanren somehow, if it's just me thinking or writing some notes to myself or writing 1 S expression, you know, maybe that's my rule. I have to write 1 S expression. I have to write 1 goal expression. I don't know. I'll probably come up with some sort of rule like that for myself. Then that's okay. The important thing is that I'm thinking about it on a regular basis. You know, that's my sort of obvious observation. You know, I don't know why it took me so long, but you know, the real way to take a long time to do something like write a book isn't, you know, like, okay, let me put it another way. If I go another 5 years without a book, it's not going to be because I was writing the book one sentence at a time every day. If I go another 5 years because I stopped working on the book, because I don't always write one sentence, I can write, a section in a day. So, I just want to not stop. I want to do these things every day, think about them every day, and at least to some extent communicate them with people. Now, I'm not communicating the StarCraft or the kanji studying. I've thought about that. Maybe that's worth doing and making some videos. I mean, in particular, if you haven't seen the Heisig method, that's kind of interesting. But if people are interested in seeing me play Brood War really poorly, that's fine. I can make a video of that. And if people want to see the Japanese stuff, I'm happy to talk about that as well. But in any case, I want to start this daily hacking. In an ideal world, I probably would do both. If I were making videos all day, if I were 100% YouTuber, then maybe I would do both. Maybe I would hack on miniKanren, do fun hacks for part of it, and then maybe I would do, sort of like tackling the hardcore problems. I'm not willing to commit to that right now of trying to do both every day. Let's try doing something where I'm playing with miniKanren, and ideally recording a video. I'm not going to record videos for all these things every day, but at least some of my videos I would like to be, hacking on miniKanren. And also I think that would be of interest to people who like miniKanren or whatever. And this is different from like a course. Okay. So, I do want to teach a course, and that, like a course on relational interpreters, that would be tied to what I'm doing with the book. But I see that separately. I see the book and the course as part of a overall package, whereas this is different. This is more, fun hacking and just exploring. Who knows where it will lead? And then, sort of the more I guess, far-reaching research aspects. These are both basically research, but part of it is like directly trying to tackle issues with miniKanren relational programming, and the other one is just like trying to have fun, and let's see where that leads, because often that does lead to interesting things. So I'm gonna start this, my new daily activity. I'm gonna start it today. There's no reason to stop. I mean, no reason to wait. It's 12:13 a.m. So here's my video, my first video of the day, and I'm going to make a video right after this, hacking on miniKanren of some sort. I'll figure it out. I haven't written a sentence in the book yet. I did start up the DAW. I did play around with the DAW for a little bit. I wasn't in a position to do a video of it, but I probably spent 20-25 minutes, maybe more, playing with the DAW, with this Apple Live Loops feature, which is kind of cool. So, I was in a situation where I'm like, hey, I'm just going to listen to some music. And then I thought, well, I could listen to some music, but I could make some music. So I just made music for a bit of time. So I already did that. I made music. I did my kanji. I watched an Artosis Cast StarCraft video. So I think I've done a Will Radio, so I've got a video that I can process and upload. So the only thing that I have to do would be write a sentence, but also I'm going to try to start this new activity, because I think this, it's really important to me to keep making progress on miniKanren. That's another thing that I sort of stopped. I stopped on my kanji. I stopped on writing a book. I stopped on trying to make music. Stopped hacking miniKanren. I have done some recently because of video, invited talk in Spain for Lambda World, and then I gave a talk at Seton Hall. So, I have been hacking, but I haven't done that for a while. This has been a few weeks since I've hacked on miniKanren, and so I want to get back to it, do it every day. Okay, well, I've got at least one more video to make tonight then, and I might make two more, depending if I record myself writing. I don't know if I'll do writing first or the hacking first. I don't know, whatever I want. But yeah, I think that's it. Talk to y'all soon. Have a good one.